All right, this is Jourdan Aldridge here from No Film School at NAB 2026, chatting with Adobe Jason Druss.
How you doing, Jourdan?
I'm doing good. How are you been, man?
I'm psyched, man. It's day 2 of NAB. I think this is my 10th NAB.
All right, nice.
And once the first day is over, the rest of the show gets a lot easier. And you just focus more on catching up with your friends, seeing folks you don't get to see that often, and just sharing the news and capturing feedback for the teams. So it's a delight to be on day 2.
Yeah. So wait, where are you based again, real quick?
I'm in New Jersey, right outside of Philly.
So you're doing, because I'm in Austin, so the time jump takes a little bit of getting used to, and yeah.
A little bit.
Also, Vegas is a wild
It is.
animal that I'm not.
Like, they pump the oxygen into the casinos and it mixes with all the cologne and the secondhand smoke.
Yeah.
And like, normally cigarettes smell disgusting, but there's something about walking through like a casino with the oxygen and a little bit of smoke and the perfume, and you're just like, time is not real.
Yeah.
It is a structure.
It's insane. Well, this is your 10th. This is my 5th, I want to say.
Cool.
And it's still like stepping into it like the first day of the convention too, because it's hall after hall, and there's so many brands, and I mean it's so diverse too from the broadcast side. So you're just seeing, like, at least for like No Film School, like we're more like indie filmmaking, video production stuff, and then you're seeing like these insane like audio boards and stuff, and just like the high end. Yeah, it's a lot to take in, and camera rig cranes like flying above you, and I don't know, it's a lot. You guys have a big booth too. Like, y'all have multiple booths this year, right?
We do. We have it's like a city. So we have the Creator Lab right behind us here, where we actually have like 30 or 40 like desktop computers and like classes running, so you can actually learn new parts of Premiere, whether it's color mode or other parts of the app. And then we have the big Adobe booth in the North Hall, and that's like a little town in of itself. We have demo booths, we have theaters and labs, and a lot of meeting rooms also.
Nice. So are you doing these smaller labs, or are you just at the big booth doing, because I see you everywhere, man. You're on all the Adobe videos. You're front and center of Adobe Premiere. Well, maybe just because like what we're No Film School like cover, like you overlap with specifically within the Adobe team, I imagine. Well, is that right? No?
The great thing about being in product marketing is that we represent the voice of the customer and the voice of the user as we develop, as we prepare to go to market, and then when we launch. And when we actually launch, most of the time at like a major event like NAB or IBC or Max, we're able to like be that voice and represent the product.
Yeah.
So just running around all over the show. Most of the time I'm at the booth. Okay. Doing demos.
All right. So if you go to the Adobe booth, you'll probably see Jason.
Probably.
You rocking the headset?
Am I what?
You rocking the headset on that? The little,
oh yeah, you got the Britney mic?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Little vocal warm-ups and stuff, and get ready. And yeah,
but whatever.
Thanks for sharing your voice for this podcast. I'm sure you're doing plenty of speaking this week. Awesome. So yeah, Adobe, like years past, like thankfully puts out news pre-NAB, which I always appreciate, to kind of set the stage. We kind of sift through it, report on it, and then there's also, I think it is helpful for people that come to NAB after having heard a lot of news, so they kind of pick what they're going to go see and learn more about. But yeah, what's your like baby on this? What are you most excited to kind of share with the world?
Well, this show and this moment is really all about color mode.
Yeah. It's
been 3 years in the making.
Wow.
I don't know how it got greenlit. There's a story behind that, which I'd love to tell you. But it's here and it happened. And there's so much iterative development and innovation that we've been putting out for the past couple of years that have led up to this moment. The color management pipeline we rewrote last year. We did that because we needed a new foundation for what we were actually building and working on.
Yeah.
AI-powered object mask, and the new redesigned shape masks with the bidirectional 3D tracking, clip and frame track editing mode. We built all of these systems in conjunction with one another. Even the Film Impact team joining the Premiere team. All of these moves have been to converge at a point where we can truly reset and reinvent what color and motion and effects workflows can be in the application, and for video editors in general. What we're really trying to do is evolve and change the video editor's relationship with color and effects.
Yeah. Well, and I don't know. I started with Premiere when I was in film school, and not that you have to go to film school, but When I was starting was like 2012-ish or so, and like it was between Final Cut and Adobe Premiere was like what I was trying to decide between. And I think like by the time I tried Final Cut a few times, and then we just had some buddies like just learn Premiere, like that's what we're kind of probably gonna be using at like the jobs you're looking at and stuff. And I started as a video editor with Premiere, so that's still like the one I definitely in my head like default to. But it's been a while since I've done a lot of high-end stuff, and I remember being like kind of color's great, but I don't know, I did not want to leave Premiere. So I think the idea of just kind of staying there is super helpful and kind of indicative of like an ecosystem that can kind of grow from there. Is that the direction? Do you kind of want people to stay in Premiere as much as possible, or?
It's not even about having people stay in Premiere. It's nice to not leave your edit. It's nice to know that we have a real pro color system that's actually made for editors right next to where you are editing. But there's a very vulnerable emotional investment that we made in the craft of video editing by building this system. Because like speaking to your like trouble yourself or your conflict of, do I stay? Do I go? These tools, Lumetri, they had a very obvious low ceiling, right? And a lot of people like them and a lot of people love them because that's what they've been working with, right? And we have solutions for that within color mode too.
Yeah, well, it's kind of like a high floor too. It's pretty easy to jump into.
It is. It's easy to jump into, move some sliders around. But for more than 10 years now, video editors have had two like really bad choices when it comes to color grading, right? Or a very difficult decision to make, right?
Yeah.
You've got the low ceiling in tools like Lumetri, the color tools that just ship with your NLE, and you fight through it, or you abandon your edit entirely, abandon your application, deal with all the conform, deal with the in-out, deal with the round trip and the back and forth, and study and learn how to use tools that were always developed and designed for pro high-end full-time colorists, not video editors, and you fight through it. And if you study hard enough, and if you train long enough, and if you adopt the mindset of the pro colorist and learn their tools, then maybe after months and months or potentially years of study, you'll earn the ability to do a fundamental part of your job, color grading, which has always been a part of the video editor's job. And we kind of just took a step back and we're like, that's kind of crazy. So Alexis Van Herkman, if you're not familiar with him, he wrote the color correction handbook, like the book on modern color. And he worked on the Apple color team a long time ago. We both worked together at Blackmagic. And he worked on the DaVinci Resolve team for a very long time. He wrote the manuals for like almost a decade. And he was one of the minds behind a lot of their color and editing innovation. We both ended up at Frame.io, the startup, before Adobe acquired Frame.
Right.
And once the acquisition happened and we found ourselves working on Frame.io at Adobe, Alexis went off and he found the executives of, the video business of Premiere and After Effects. And he was just like, hey, I've got this crazy idea of a completely new way to do color grading. And it's not designed for colorists. It's actually designed for video editors. There's a lot of new inventions. There's going to be new terminologies. It's going to take 3 years to build. You're going to have to give me a ton of people. It's going to be a little controversial when it launches. And there's no way it's going to be ready until like 3 years from now. So, and then he was just like, do you want to fund it? And they were like, yeah, absolutely. He's probably one of 5 people on the planet, like bold enough with enough experience and the vision to like kind of pull off a move like this. So he jumped over to the Premiere team. I followed soon after, and I've been working on color mode for the past like two and a half years. And we've been in unison. We did the largest private beta that we've ever done in Premiere. For the last 18 months or so, we've had somewhere between 300 and 400 real working editors testing it with us as we were building it in real time. And every event we went to, we held these massive NDA summits where we would show what we had so far, the little bricks as they were getting put together as we were building the house, getting feedback on each component of the system. And the private beta concluded as we went to public beta earlier this week, and now it's out.
All right. So, yeah, a big journey. You mentioned that like several times, calling it like, maybe I'm putting words in your mouth, like your baby, but something you're very passionate about, seeing from start to finish. So wait, I did kind of want to ask about your career and stuff, because I've seen you at Adobe, and I knew you have a history with some other brands, but did you start as a colorist? Did you start as a video editor? Where did you begin? Did you go to film school?
I did go to film school.
Where at?
I went to University of the Arts. in Philly.
Okay.
May she
Yeah, you're
rest
a
in
Philly
peace.
guy. That's
Yeah.
right. Yeah.
I didn't do very well. I dropped out. Shot weddings for a long time.
Okay.
Gigged for a long time. Shot some documentaries.
Mhm.
Was just a run and gun video person. Worked on whatever career I could get my hands on. Ended up graduating from the Art Institute of Philadelphia.
Mhm.
May she rest in peace. Both of my colleges, neither of them exist
I
anymore.
did not know. All right.
But then I knew I wanted to be a colorist
Okay.
because I downloaded the first free version of Resolve.
Mm-hmm.
And I was always realizing I'm shooting constantly and I'm editing constantly so I can get to color grading.
All right. That's a good sign that you're finding the thing you like. Yeah.
As we were fighting through the HDV days, the 35 millimeter adapter days, and then especially the early days of the DSLR revolution,
Yeah.
the bit rate wasn't that good. The quality of the footage wasn't that good. So the name of the game was, how can I shoot in the best, highest quality format possible so I can shape and mold the image in post-production to look as good as possible?
And challenge modern filmmaker or video people just might not ever know.
You know, the folks who are like coming up today.
Yeah.
It's amazing the accessibility and democratization of the hardware part of the technology. But
because I was DSLR revolution when I was in film school and didn't really see before that. But yeah, even like 720p like DSLR footage is like you can't do a lot, and
yeah,
it was frustrating. Yes,
it's a little frustrating, but I found myself just color grading as much as possible, and I knew I wanted to be a colorist. Right, it hit me, and I took the first free version of Resolve on a laptop, ran with it, got tiny little gigs, worked my way up, but eventually, someone who worked at Blackmagic hired me to be a product specialist for Resolve and a demo artist, and I drove a Mercedes Sprinter van up and down the East Coast and just did demos constantly, became a spokesperson, and all of a sudden I found myself walking into like all of the post houses and talking to colorists who I admired like my whole career and like coming up, and a lot, some of them became mentors, some of them became friends, and I just kept grading as I was working at Blackmagic. I ended up moonlighting at NFL Films as a film colorist there, restoring 16 and 35 millimeter film, working their like legendary 16-hour overnight dailies shift on Sunday game days for all the Alexa footage coming back to NFL Films and doing a dailies pass on it for the networks for Monday morning.
You kind of like subtly making like the Eagles green pop more than all the other colors for NFL teams.
It's not even about the Eagles green, because that's where I like I really like learned like true like color grading, where like we do a dailies pass, and you have to have every camera from every shot, from every frame, from every field match, right?
Yeah.
And you have one game with 3 cameras, 6 cameras, 9 cameras. The players are running through these shadows and highlights, 7 stops of dynamic range shifting or exposure shifts. You have to keyframe all of that. So, and you work from 2 p.m. to 4 a.m. Making sure everything looks good, but you're only allowed to use primary grading tools. One show LUT, primary grading tools, no curves, no secondaries, no nothing, and you have to make it work. And the most humiliating thing that could ever happen is if you get a call on Monday and say, you have a redo. And you have to go back in somehow. And
so this is like quick turnaround work too, not like
really
the DVD for the champions for 6 months later or something. Yeah.
Wow. Yeah, no, it's because everyone wants their beautiful, gorgeous NFL Films footage on Monday morning.
Yeah.
All the networks and streaming services. So, and then my boss there, he was like, we're doing this 7-year project. We're just restoring every piece of film that's ever been shot for the past like 70 years here.
Yeah.
It's like anytime you want extra work, it could be 3 o'clock in the morning. You badge in, you sit at a system, you clock in. We're going to have some kind of film there for you to restore.
That sounds kind of cool.
I did that. I had a boutique post house that my wife and I ran out of our apartment in Philly called Good Grades for a while.
Okay. But is she a post editor also, or color?
No, she was client services for a while at MPC, the post house in New York.
Okay.
But she's in marketing now. She was just along for the ride and loves the geekery of it.
Yeah.
But eventually I got a job at Warner Media, now Warner Brothers Discovery.
Okay.
As a senior colorist, servicing all of the Turner Networks, shows for HBO Max, Turner Classic Movies, and NBA TV, just like anything and everything. And I did that for a couple years and thought that I was going to be in that chair for the rest of my career.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, that's like the traditional route, too, for a colorist. And I'm actually kind of curious, at the East Coast, is there a lot of like advertising in that, too? Or did you kind of stick in television and sports?
When I was bouncing around New York and Philly, there's a lot of branded content, a lot of ads.
Yeah.
I'm
from Dallas, Fort Worth originally. I live in Austin now, but there's a lot of ad work there. So everyone I knew that like really knew their color work were ad adjacent and marketing kind of stuff.
Very much so.
Yeah.
You'd cut your teeth on some feature docs or feature films that were indie and, lower budget.
Yeah.
You'd do those. I graded my first feature film on Apple Color in my school's lab, and it closed, and I actually hid and stayed overnight one night so I
Nice.
could grade through the night as like the security guard, and I just like
Yeah.
hid in a corner and then got back out and logged back in and
That's
graded.
awesome.
I loved Apple Color. But anyway, a marketing mentor from Blackmagic ran marketing at Frame, and he was like, "Hey man, join the circus. You're a product marketer. You always have been. Join us."
Yeah.
Took a huge leap of faith. Did that. Best decision I ever made. I'm obsessed with product marketing for creative tech to craft and market and message tools that we use from the lens of industry expertise. It's so much fun. But then a year after I joined Frame.io, we were acquired by Adobe, and the rest is history.
Yeah. Do you still work with the Frame team within Adobe, or are you just Premiere at this point?
I'm just Premiere and After Effects
Okay.
technically, but I'm still very close with everyone on the Frame team.
Yeah.
And they just announced Frame.io Drive.
Yeah, I
mounted
wanted to ask
storage,
about that.
which is a big part of like how it connects to Premiere. Yeah.
How would you say, I mean, are they working with you guys? Is it like separate offices still?
Well, it's a very spread out company. A
Yeah.
lot of the Frame folks live in and around the New York City because that's where the startup was based before
Right.
the acquisition. So you'll see a lot of Frame folk in the Adobe offices in New York. A lot of the Premiere team is spread across San Francisco, San Jose, Seattle, LA.
Yeah, because the Adobe Max every year seems like a West Coast conference, right?
Yeah, except for this year it's in Miami again. It was in Miami
Oh,
a couple years
okay.
ago too.
Yeah.
Switching it up a little bit.
All right.
Yeah.
Equal representation for
Yeah.
the coasts.
But the Frame teams, the Adobe team, the After Effects team, we like to work together. And as they were developing Frame.io Drive and mounted storage, we actually built all of our NAB demos using very early beta builds of Frame.io Drive.
Oh,
And then running into problems and then directly reaching out to our buddies on Slack and being like,
yeah.
something's broken. This isn't going to work. And we had 6 terabytes of media for the demo footage for this show. The product marketers, myself and my colleague Kylie Pena, we edited and graded all of the demo timelines ourselves, and we have 3 amazing, gorgeous projects to work with that we went out and shot for the color mode launch. And as we were editing them and grading them, we were experimenting with using local storage, and then we would duplicate everything and do a test on, okay, let's stream it from Frame.io and see if this works.
Yeah, some internal beta testing.
Dude, there is a lot of dog fooding at Adobe. Almost.
Dog fooding, what does that mean?
Well, the phrase is you eat your own dog food until you drink your own champagne. If you're,
I've never heard that.
oh, you never heard that?
No.
Oh, some corporate jargon is actually can be quite useful
Okay.
sometimes.
I got to work on my corporate jargon. Yeah.
It's actually it can be fun. Almost everyone who works on the Premiere and After Effects team is or was a real video editor and or motion designer and or filmmaker through engineering, through design, through product management, through product marketing, even through program management.
I've added that. And you guys shot your own ads too, or at least that one video I saw. You guys posted behind the scenes something.
Oh yeah, my mentor and my manager Megan, myself, Kylie, some others. We like to make a lot of content on social media. I've been posting.
Sorry, not an ad, but content. Yeah.
Social content. I've been posting nonstop color mode tutorials.
I've seen. Yeah.
Yeah, and Adobe's a really big company. And you have a perception of what Premiere is or who makes Premiere, what Premiere is all about, if we're listening, if we care. And we know on the team that we do everything based on the feedback we get from all of the video editing communities. But we all just got together and said, let's just start making a ton of videos.
Yeah.
And let's post our own tutorials and let's dive into our own expertise and let's find a way to connect even deeper with users. And on Instagram, I'm looking through the comments and I'm replying to folks and I'm tagging feature requests and I'm putting them in Jira and bringing them to the PM teams. So just a better way to connect with everyone.
It's a very direct way, I will say. Yeah.
Yeah. But one of the funny things are, you're getting the messaging and the go-to-market strategy together for a launch, and we're getting ready for color mode, and we have all this industry experience, and sometimes you get work come back, and you're like video editors, this word works better than that word, or we should say it this way, or we need to make sure when we do the demos that we are actually doing it this way in the workflow, because if you try to do it that way, that is not authentic to how editors actually work, or how creators actually work, we strive to approach everything from a lens of authenticity, pulling from all of our experiences across the whole Premiere and After Effects team and the frame teams as well. So yeah, it's a lot of fun. And then you get to come to the show and see everyone looking at the projects and the videos we put on YouTube and everything, and it's great.
Yeah, I mean, there's something like 50,000 people are expected for NAB this year, or
I haven't heard that
hear?
number yet. It dipped for a while, but I'm seeing a lot of people at the show this year. And day 2 is normally the busiest day, so we'll see how busy it is.
Interesting, yeah.
Yeah.
All right, well, I want to give you an opportunity here because I feel like I can't speak fully for the No Film School audience because it's very diverse and had years to build up, and a lot of people check it for different reasons. But if you could talk to someone who is maybe kind of been afraid of color editing or color grading and kind of going into the world of color, and they've probably used Premiere in some way before for just basic video editing, how would you kind of guide them through? What would you tell them to check out first, or what's your pitch for stepping into this world with this new color mode?
Yeah. So it's interesting. As we were doing private beta, we were taking veteran video editors, like very, very high-end professional creators, people who work in broadcast, people who work at schools, even some very like well-known professional colorists. We brought them into private beta and we just, what do you think of this thing? And at first the reaction is either I'm all in, this is unique and this is crazy, I've never seen anything like it. And you have a lot of innovative people that just want to dive into something new. You have healthy reluctance. I don't know what I'm looking at here. And then you have people who go, this looks too simple. I don't get it. Did you reskin Lumetri? What is this? What the hell am I looking at here?
Yeah.
And throughout private beta, we would release more parts and we'd have more meetings and they'd get deeper into the system. And I don't think we had one editor in private beta who by the end of our journey wasn't like, this is how I want to work now. And the thing about it is, the interface and the user experience is very simple by design. But out of the two problems I was telling you before, you either fight through the low ceiling tools that come shipped in the NLE, Lumetri in our case, or you abandon the edit and you use the Pro Color tools. We wanted to make the first color grading system ever actually built from the ground up and designed for video editors.
Right.
But through these choices and through the paradigm of the industry dynamics and culture of video editing over the past like 10 to 15 years, we have grown up and came to age and are working in a culture where we believe the only way to creativity, the only way to depth, the only way to turn your imagination into a reality is by the mastery of extremely complex mathematical, scientific tools. That's the only way to achieve that core fundamental part of your job. So as Alexis and the design team and the engineering team, as we started to scrap and be like, we can completely reset. We're beholden to nothing. We're beholden to no one but our users. How do we make a completely new experience from scratch? We were thinking about, well, one of the hardest parts of color grading is that there's a lot of tools. A lot of tools can be in a lot of tabs. There's a lot of information you have to reference very, very quickly. Because color grading is also a job of creativity, the intersection of art and science, but also of speed. Because it's a part of the workflow. It's one of the 10 parts that you got to do to get your video out. So we're like, what if we could design a system where you literally see everything you need in one field of view, and that field of view was nice to look at. So the program monitor is huge. We have like the vertical clip grid that shows you up to every clip you have at the same time. And then all the core color controls are just sitting right there. And you look at those color controls and you're like, oh, are those like the entry color tools? But it's like, no, we crammed so much into this very like gorgeous little block of tools. The tools are bidirectional. Contrast and pivot is one tool. You move up and down for contrast, left and right for pivot. And then this heads up display shows you the scopes, the numeric information, and these real-time animated feedback overlays that help you actually understand what you're doing as you do it. There's no more guesswork. When I played like I suck at video games, and when I play Mortal Kombat, I smash buttons until I see something I want to happen.
We all do, yes.
That's a lot. Sometimes video editors, that's their experience with color grading. So whether you've been doing this for years or whether you're like new to the game, we wanted to build a system that either helps you make better, faster, more nuanced, fine-tuned, advanced creative decisions. And we wanted to build a system that also teaches you how to be a better video editor and how to be a better colorist as you use it. But where it gets really interesting is when it starts getting deep. And when you look at it at first glance, and if you're kicking the tires and just using it for a minute, the depth is all there, we just built tools that are simpler to access to achieve what you see in your head. And that really begins the framework of styles and modules, of advanced masking, and the new invention of operations.
Nice. Well, that was going to be my follow-up to speak secondarily, or I don't know, the 1A, 1B here, to someone who's done a lot of color work over the years and is going to possibly check out Adobe for the first time, or just in this new color mode, and being like, okay, well, what does this have? What can I jump into? I'm curious where you would direct them, like how to direct them to jump into it to give the best experience of your project here, or with your expertise in it.
Well, I think the most important thing is to understand this new concept of operations. They're not layers, they're not nodes. They're a third new category of grade management and effects management. You can add an operation at the clip, custom group, or sequence level. Color grade everything, color grade selected clips, or color grade one clip, right? And an operation can host an adjustment, anything done with the core color tools, a style, which we'll get into, or a LUT.
Yeah.
So you can add LUTs, styles, and adjustments at the clip level, custom group level, or sequence level. Now, what differentiates them is that you see a clear order of operations, the render pipeline from left to right, color management first, then clip, then group, then sequence. And if you click on a clip, if it is a part of a group, if it has clip adjustments, if it has sequence adjustments, you see every single bit of color affecting the clip at the same time from every level in this easy line in these bubbles that just live above your color controls. And you can copy and paste them. You can drag and drop them. Let's say you grade one clip, you make a second or third or fourth adjustment, and then you're like, you desat, and you're like, oh, I like this desat. Now I want the whole sequence to be desaturated. I can just take that bubble and drag it from the clip level and drop it on sequence, and just the clip grid just goes whoosh, and you see everything update. The level of copy and paste mechanisms between the controls, between the luminance zones, between each axis of each control is pretty wild. And the amount of copy and paste and drag and drop functionality and custom group functionality is also very wild. It's very difficult to find any kind of movement that you can't do in this first version of public beta. And if you do find one, we probably know about it. We're probably adding it in between public beta and GA. When it comes to the creative work, styles and modules are where it's at. This is from a lot of the color team being current and or former professional colorists, understanding the workflow gaps in between a video editor who needs to color and someone who colors full-time as their primary job, and the aspiration and romanticism and creative need of wanting to accomplish those pro-colorist things. How do we get editors to achieve that without the 10,000 hours of practice, without needing to leave the edit, but also by cutting through all of the tediums and steps and capturing the intention and the movement and the output and accelerating that into a new way of working that gets you where you need to go as creatively as ever, if not more, but significantly faster. That's what styles and modules are. But so that's kind of like what we think about them. I can tell you what they are also, if you're like, what the hell are these things?
What the hell are these things?
What the hell are these things? So let's start with modules.
Okay.
Modules are individual color effects. Right. We got a few of them that kind of mirror the tools you see in the core adjustments. The three unique ones we have right now in this first version of public beta. We got film color, my one of my favorites. Film color gives you up to more than 90 authentic film emulations.
Okay.
Between Kodak and Fuji, you can pick a negative and print film stock. We have a lot more on the way, but normally we're used to sliders. So if you want strength on the color control, again, most tools are bidirectional. You go up and down for strength, but if you move your mouse to the left, you will keep the film color and lose the film contrast. And if you move the mouse to the right, you'll keep the film contrast and lose the film color. And you can customize and tweak and flow to see the exact emulation you want. And like, these are things where, we're like, oh, as a colorist, like, you really need to know what you're doing across a very complex effects chain to understand how to control and nuance and build that, and then also how it flows throughout your other clips. That's not easy.
I like how locked in you're getting on this and like flow state minded of like.
That's what it's all about, man.
I don't know, that you get a coffee and then I know what you're talking about.
Yeah. It's all about the flow state. So And then like, you apply a LUT. We all use LUTs. I still love LUTs. I still use LUTs on my page.
So stage whisper for the cameras at this side. Yeah.
I use LUTs sometimes. I don't tell my clients, but I'm using a LUT. But the problem with a LUT is that it's a destructive filter. It's a hard filter. You can't edit it. It looks great on some of your footage. Looks like shit on some of your other footage.
Yeah.
You got to have 12 versions of every LUT for every single version of the color management who's a what's it, right? And you're like, oh, the LUT looks great, but the shadows are crunched. Like, can I go behind it? Can I go above it? Can I this is where you stop being creative. And we realize that a big part of the workflow of color grading is problem solving.
Yeah.
So Film Color, the module, has shadow and highlight protection, where you can literally just fluff and bring up the shadows or highlights.
Yeah.
And then there's Contrast Kit. Contrast Kit allows you to make custom, nuanced contrast density curves that emulate the way film actually works. Now, it took me 4 or 5 years to really understand how to build like custom film density curves from scratch, to understand the relationship and how you see it in the scopes between the definition and the crunch between the shadows and then the midtones and the highlights, the roll off. It's you have to study, like really study, not just creatively, but mathematically and scientifically. So through,
But I say we've written about this at No Film School a bunch about like what cinematic means and that filmic look, and I mean it's still the be all end all for better or worse, but yeah. Well, I appreciate you saying there's a mathematic component to it rather than just like a esoteric like.
It's way more than esoteric, because it is what we're doing is we're handling all the math and science, but we're allowing you to translate your creative intent and your creativity into what until now took this studious complexity.
Yeah.
And the last tool I'll talk about is range within the contrast kit, because oftentimes like you have a big crunchy shot. Film, a lot of the times it'll roll off around 700-800 IRE. It'll have a more subtle roll off, but also like you want to customize and control contrast. Now that's really difficult, especially if you have a ton of layers or a ton of nodes or a ton of stuff going on across the whole sequence. So what range does is if you move your mouse down, we will take the ultimate shadow point, the black point and the white point, and we'll actually crunch the whole and compress the contrast of the whole image. And then if you move your mouse left and right, we will take that entire luminance range and move it up and down on the scopes. So you take range, push it down, move that up or down, go back to contrast kit, create your custom density curves, go to film color, a little bit of shadow protection, customize your film stock, adjust the strength in the film color, and across your sequence, across the group, you have this amazing film emulation that probably would have taken you a lot longer. So that's the individual modules. Styles come into play. Styles are pre-graded collections of modules that come all in one. So unlike a LUT, you can customize them. You can treat style presets as a LUT, take one-click cinematic look, but the way we surface them is we surface these modules as these little vertical strips. Yeah. And you can open them up like Lego blocks, and you can collapse them, and you can change the order of operations between the modules. And we ship with like, I don't know, like many dozens of presets. Okay. I've made a ton of my own presets.
Yeah.
I'm like a huge Spielberg junkie, so I made like a Saving Private Bleach Bypass.
Okay.
I made like a Jurassic Kodak preset.
Have you seen what's the new one, Disclosure Day? Have you seen it yet? Or is it out?
I don't know if it's out yet. Is it out?
I was wondering if he was going to go with that, like, because he did World of the Worlds, right? Of kind of like kind of like grayish, like darker look, or he's going to go like kind of like the blown out, like light kind of look.
It looks very modern Spielberg, and it looks very Janusz Kaminski. And their duo is well, I won't rabbit hole too much into that, but I could go on for hours.
We'll talk Spielberg sometime.
We'll talk after. But with the style presets, once you make a style that you like, you can also save them to your system. Now, right now, if you want to import them and export these styles from Premiere, you can go to the source file directory and kind of like drag and drop them and get them out and like throw them in and then restart Premiere Beta. We are building a system where you will be able to natively import and export these things very easily from Premiere. So you can share them with buddies and send them to folks, do whatever you want with them. But the thing is, right now, we have these 3 unique modules. We see a world between the next 3 months, 6 months, 12 months, 18 months. We're going to see like 30 to 50 modules in color mode. Billions of potential ones. And we feel safe saying this, and we got permission. We got permission to say a vignette module is coming very, very soon. Nice. We took Film Impact's vignette effect, which is really one of the deepest, most amazing customizable vignette effects ever made. We're surfacing them in color mode as a module with these unique bidirectional controls, unique heads-up displays that show you what you're doing as you're doing it. And we're going to take most, if not all, of the cinematography and color grading film impact effects, we're going to surface them as modules. We see a future where third-party plugins can take toolkits and SDKs and APIs and surface them in color mode as modules. We see, and we have our own roadmap that Alexis has developed along with engineers and some of the best color scientists in the world. Some of the best color scientists in the world from companies that you love and trust have joined Adobe to go on this crazy mission with us and reinvent color for video editors. And let me tell you, the math of these tools is incredible because it's made for video editors, unapologetically. But our bar was, if you're a pro colorist and for some reason you had 3 hours to grade something and you're in front of Premiere and you decide, I'm just gonna try color mode. It might not be the tool you want to use every day, but you'd have fun and you'd enjoy yourself and you'd really appreciate and respect the math and quality of the controls themselves, especially in the wide gamut pipeline. And through the colorists that we had in private beta, we're getting thumbs up there.
Nice.
But it's not Lumetri reskinned. It's all new math. It's all new tools. But the most important thing about color mode, through the simple interface, through as deep as you can go, especially once you start talking about adding shape masks and AI object masks to the adjustments and then inverting them and like doing some really cool relighting stuff, color mode rewards curiosity. It encourages experimentation. It's actually fun to use. It provides a joyous experience. It doesn't require weeks or months of hardcore study before you earn the ability to get results that you like. If you're advanced, like if you know what you're doing, you're going to get results that you love inside of the first hour. And if you're really new to this stuff, it's not going to take you months to learn. It's going to take you either days or weeks. This system has, and we know this through this huge private beta we ran, this system has the most shallow learning curve of any pro color system. And we're just really excited about it. But we've been kibitzing for a while talking about this now. You make a marketing video, you make a website, you try to translate all of that. But it's really best to be experienced. So what we're saying here at NAB to the video editing community is just like, man, just try it. Download Premiere Beta, kick the tires. If there's things you're not liking, tell us. Because let me tell you, if you put something on the internet, we see it. If you hit up our product teams, we see it. So we want to know what you want to see next. This was a huge investment from Adobe in the craft of video editing. We have years of roadmap ahead of us. We are sprinting to decide what our prioritization is going to be based on the feedback we get from this show. And we're just getting started.
Nice, man. I know you said it, I wouldn't say as a negative, but like the button mashing of Mortal Kombat sounds like I'm hearing a little bit of encouraging to go try it out, button mash and try it out. And you might be surprised too.
Do some button smashing.
Yeah.
But after you smash some buttons, you're going to realize, oh, I get it.
Yeah.
From people are like, where's Lift Gamma Gain? We're like, did you know Lift Gamma Gain was actually kind of like invented for the Rex open on my color space like a really long time ago? Everyone's shooting log now. Like zones are actually like a much nuanced, better way to surface curves and luminance-based color grading in a system where you can just pick and create the highlight and shadow zones. And customize that yourself, and you get the most like really like hardcore video editors who've been doing this for like 20 years, and they're like, no, where are my curves? And then you watch them play with it for 5 minutes, and then you show a 10-bit grayscale, and you see how the zones are actually curves. It's actually using real curve and luminance math, and they do it, and they go, oh. And then it begs the question philosophically: if we're used to making a ton of tiny little S-curve points and customizing them ourselves, there's definitely value in that. But if there's a faster, more streamlined way to approach the same exact thing and get the same exact outputs with more creative potential faster, do you still need the old way of doing things? If yes, do you want us to put those curves in? If not, actually try it out for a few weeks and tell us, because most people, not all, there's still people that are like, take my curves from my cold dead hands, and that's totally cool, legit, and we're tracking all that feedback. But there are a lot of people who would have sworn that I will never use a color system that doesn't have curves, and then they're using zones and they're using the modules, and they're like, no, I get it.
Yeah.
So we were blown away by that in private beta, and in public beta now, what we're seeing from the folks that are actually trying it and kicking the tires. We're in week 1, it's still extremely early days. We're really excited to see how video editors are learning the system. And it's not just a release, it's a like philosophical idea that you can achieve every bit of creativity you want without complexity. Redefining what is complexity, what is depth. We're challenging these questions with color mode, and we're just really passionate and geeky about it, man.
Yeah, I love it. Well, and I'm really happy that you have made your Instagram open to people to comment and chime in on as they try it out and what they think. And I see you on there all the time talking to people and stuff. So yeah,
thanks.
You're there for them. So
if you
add them. Don't be afraid.
Yeah, please reach out. You don't even have to follow. Just if you see one of my videos, if you have ideas, if you have thoughts, if you have feature requests, comment. It's at Jason Does Video on Instagram or TikTok.
Yeah.
And I'm posting nonstop tutorials. I like to make like slightly unhinged videos. I was in the sauna at the Encore Spa the other day having a schwitz. That's my happy place. Like I love going for a schwitz. And I was in there by myself, and I was just like thinking about some feedback we were getting about like people initially clicking into it and seeing it and being like just basic first impressions. Oh, too simple, right? Mm-hmm. Not complex enough, because the only way to depth is through complexity. Not complex enough. So I had the like towel over, and I just like ranted for a minute about the design philosophy behind color mode.
Yeah.
From in the sauna. So a lot of tutorials, a lot of weird videos, and just a lot of color mode videos coming out.
That's awesome. Well, excited to see it develop over the next coming months, and maybe NAB 2027 we'll be showing a whole host of new features for it. So
before that,
yeah, will be multiple versions of it by then.
Do you want me to give you the secret list of like, well, like we've been saying to people at the show, there's like a list of things that we know are coming between public beta and GA. I can shout it out.
I absolutely want to know that. Yes.
Okay.
Let's go.
HSL qualifiers.
Okay.
Through masking. Skin tone lines on all the vector scopes, more advanced HUDs and more advanced feedback from the HUDs, auto color and auto balance. We have auto temp. We just couldn't get auto color and auto balance before we had to go out for public beta.
Is this like V2 stuff? Or?
No, not a V2. I'm saying these are just features we're going to roll out throughout public beta before we even get to the first GA. Gotcha. The vignette module, hopefully other modules. Man, we have some great, like hardcore, like what are the hardest parts of color grading and trying to achieve cinematic or creative looks?
Yeah.
How do we create a module that does that specific thing? We have a lot of those unique ones in the pipeline. More film stocks. That's all I can think of off the top of my head, but there is a lot more.
I was going to ask you, but I thought you spilled all the beans you had to spill already, so didn't pry.
Those are, our vice president at Premiere and After Effects for the pro video business, Bill Hensler. He says, and I love this phrase he says, I'm paraphrasing. He says, 1.0 products don't release, they escape.
Sure, yeah.
Because we've been building it for 3 years, and we're like, God, we would really love to put it out for the first time if it had these 5 or 6 like little things that we really know people need. But then we were like, okay, do we actually have a workflow where people can learn the system and do some actual professional work safely in the beta version of the app after dedicating projects and stuff? And we're like, yeah, okay, let's push it out. We know we're going to be rolling out stuff indefinitely, like forever from now on. So let's let it escape.
Yeah. When you have it out for you and the team to be showcased into 50,000 people this weekend. So yeah,
man. Response has been great so far. We're doing, if you're at NAB, we got the Creator Lab. We got Theater Labs at the Adobe booth. We have like a dozen demo pods running color mode. We have 13 training videos on YouTube that myself, Kylie, and Carl Sule made. And if you know Adobe, you know Carl Sule. He's a color whiz. We made 13 training videos that take you through the entire system end to end because it is an application-sized release. We have 40 short 1 to 3 minute Q&A videos that Alexis made on the Adobe Care YouTube channel. And now we're seeing users just flood with tutorials and introduction videos. So
that's good. Yeah, short attention span. You watch it all on TikTok.
Yeah,
while you're video editing.
Short attention span. The most important thing, you put out something this big. It was a real point of pride for us, and we struggled and we worked nights and weekends to make sure that we had every single piece of training content available on day 0.
Yeah.
So people would want for nothing to learn and experiment with the system.
Love the film school of it all. So that's awesome, man. Awesome. Well, thanks so much for chatting. Looking forward to stopping by the booth here in a little bit too to do a little personal demo. But yeah, happy NAB.
Happy NAB, man. Thanks.
Bam.